Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
Rallying against their naysayers, FNMs boasted about their accomplishments 1 year later.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, much has been said to down the Menace administration's first year in office. In the past few weeks, criticism has come from both the opposition as well as those in the party. Well, at the FNM's one-year celebration, they made a case to silence all naysayers. Our Jillian Gray reports.
The Menace administration has no doubt taken a few blows, as many people have criticized what, if anything, the government has done since taking office last year. While FNM MPs answered that question loud and clear at the party's one-year celebration.
When we were headed into an abyss from which we would not have easily recovered. The recovery of our national prospects and our economy has begun.
Dr. Menace likened members of his administration to builders, whom he says spent their first year in office laying the foundation for what's to come.
In the upcoming budget, we will announce a number of key infrastructure projects. We say it's the people's time. Very soon, you will see the people's budget.
Menace also pointed to the 1.4% growth in gross domestic product in 2017 and the projected 2.5% growth proposed for 2018. Of the biggest accomplishments to date, he said, is a 40% drop in murders, a trend he says he fully expects to continue.
Our targets are more effective rehabilitation, correctional and educational services, to reduce the recidivism rate of offenders, the strengthening of the criminal justice system, and the establishment of youth community centers.
Members of the Menace cabinet also listed the progress made in their respective ministries.
We're going to build a brand new school in Southwest New Providence, primary and preschool, taking on 650 of our children. Brand new school in Matthewtown in Agua. Brand new school is going in Gregorytown. Finish off the school in Holmes Rock. Upgrade the school at Eva Hilton. That's the old Oaksfield Primary School.
Tourists are coming back to the Bahamas in record numbers. You speak to all the major hotel operators and they will tell you business is booming.
The FNM swept into power 1 year ago with 35 seats in Parliament. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Well, as he addressed a packed room of FNM supporters, Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest hit out at one of his own, Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine, who has been critical of the Menace administration on several issues and called the government's first year in office disappointing. Turnquest urged supporters to tune out those who speak but have no idea what's going on in the government and called it a disservice to the people of Pine Ridge.
Don't mind the noise in the marketplace. Don't mind messages that are being sent out by people who do not necessarily understand, who do not necessarily know what is going on, but yet they speak. It is unfortunate, it is regrettable, and it is a disservice to the people of Pine Ridge. I say no more about that.
The finance minister also defended the Menace administration's $1.4 billion in borrowing over the past year and blamed the last Christie administration, which he accused of leaving behind millions of dollars in unpaid bills.
Obviously, the previous government left the cupboards bare, so there's no money to pay off the $750 million. And so the only way to satisfy those loans is to refinance them. So we had to borrow it. $400 million of that 1.4 was to pay off bills that we found in the drawer when we arrived on day one.
Turnquest says the government intends to bring the national debt down to 50% of GDP within the next 2 years and reduce the annual deficit to 1.8% and eventually 1.5% of GDP in an effort to balance the budget. PLP leader Philip Brave Davis has accused the F&M administration of being wasteful. However, Turnquest questioned whether he would need to draw a pie chart to explain to members of the opposition where $1.4 billion in borrowed money went.
But it's like they missed my class. I think they missed that elementary foundation. And so, once again, let me help them once again. I told them yesterday, if they didn't understand it, that I would draw a diagram for them. Maybe they didn't understand pictures.
The finance minister says though it's been a rough year, revenue has increased by $25 million. Net recurrent spending has been cut by $67 million, and the GFS deficit has been reduced by $92.3 million. Well, following months of silence by members of the Minnis cabinet on the controversy surrounding the $5.5 billion Oban deal, Education Minister Jeff Lloyd admitted last night that the Minnis administration messed up. Government signed a heads-of agreement with Oban Energies in February prior to the completion of an environmental impact assessment. It was later revealed that Oban Energies chair Peter Krieger had a checkered past and signed someone else's name on the document during what turned out to be a ceremonial signing.
That I have not seen, probably in my memory, any prime minister coming to the House of Assembly, Bahamian people, and admitting that we messed up, all right? And we did, all right? There's no question about it. In terms of our processing of this particular application, first and foremost, we certainly did not follow the law, the Planning and Subdivision Act. It's very clear. We didn't follow the law, and obviously we had to retreat, all right?
Lloyd, who is a member of the cabinet subcommittee overseeing the proposed oil refinery project on East Grand Bahama, says committee members met with Oban officials and laid their cards on the table. He says just as the Prime Minister has promised to conduct a comprehensive review of the Oban deal, Oban Energies is also evaluating the position laid out by the government and will have to make a decision.
Now, those on the other side, the Oban officials, they are going through their process to reevaluate now the position that has been laid by the Bahamian people through its government in terms of this particular process. And they're going to have to make their own decision, and just like we have to make our own decision. When all of the facts have come to the table, and we are now in the process of gathering that, the environmental impact statement, the environmental impact study, the economic impact, the real benefit for the Bahamian, economic and social benefit for the Bahamian people, everything, as the Prime Minister said, is now presently under review, and we're not going to be rushed.
Lloyd, who was a guest on RTV's On the Record with host Jerome Sawyer, says the subcommittee will submit a report to Cabinet.
When it all comes to the table and we, as the committee, evaluate it, we will then make our representation to Cabinet. Cabinet will make its decision. That decision then will be shared with the Bahamian people.
One of the key concerns from the very beginning is that this was an ironclad deal of the government and the people of Bahamas couldn't get out of. Nonsense.
Again, the AG explained that. There's no such thing as cannot get out. There are always implied terms and so on. Now, of course, getting out of it may impose a particular penalty, but by no means.
In other news, the Water and Sewage Corporation has signed a $5.3 million deal with a local firm, paving the way for hundreds of homes and businesses on Long Island to be connected to a potable water system.
Lot number 1, that's North Long Island, from the northern end of Salt Pond Settlement, ending at Boat Harbor Drive, Gray Settlement. This will provide service to approximately 200 service connections.
And that's just one part of the multi-million-dollar running water project for Long Island. The second lot includes areas between South Long Island from Turtle Cove to the southern portion of the island's capital, Clarencetown. Water and Sewage Chairman Adrian Gibson, who was also the Long Island Member of Parliament, said he made the promise on the campaign trail and is happy to deliver. The company is having an open house on June 12th to see how many locals can fill the 50 positions that will be available for the project.
We anticipate that the majority of the workers for this project would be Bahamian.
For years, many residents of the island have had the additional expense of building and utilizing wells or tanks onto their homes. It's a struggle the MP said Long Islanders shouldn't have had to endure for so long. BHM Company Limited was awarded the $5.3 million contract and is expected to begin work within 6 weeks. Work is set to be completed 12 months after.
The only time it'll be in effect is when their lateral is connected and they'll have potable water rather than tanks. Other than that, they have no disruption to their water supply if they're being tankered in or they're using well water.
Now, just because this initial phase of the plan does not include the southern and northernmost ends of the island, Gibson says residents there aren't to feel left out.
The corporation's technical staff are presently confirming the scope for additional phases of work in Long Island from both the northern and the southernmost sides, that is north of Milton and south of Clarenstown settlements. And we are exploring technological innovations as well.
The Central Bank of the Bahamas revealing the winners of its architectural design competition for the construction of a new bank. The winners were unveiled during a press conference at the bank's Market Street headquarters. Judging the 11 entries, the competition was a panel of 5 judges with expertise from the fields of architecture, urban planning, engineering, fine arts, culture, commerce, education, and anthropology. Coming out on top was the sand dollar design that was submitted by Jason Lorandos of Tecton Design Studios. Lorandos called his win a shock and explained the inspiration behind his company's work.
The emblem of the central bank, the sand dollar. I wanted to create something that was uniquely Bahamian, something that had value to the essence of the country, and the central bank, being probably the most important governmental figure in the Bahamas, needed to be a component that was both architectural and a statement indicating the strength of the building and the country that would be recognized globally as a place of importance.
Coming in second was entry 61730 from the Diamonds Consulting Group and HKS Architects, Inc. That design also won the People's Choice Award thanks to 3,500 votes cast online. In third place was entry 47852 from RCOP Limited. Central Bank Governor John Roll says the competition is a part of a wider initiative to revitalize the downtown area.
The Central Bank, part of the reason why we put this campaign on is because we want a new Central Bank facility to remain in the downtown area, and for that to be a catalyst for other development in the area. So we're very happy with the range of ideas and thoughts that are coming out of this.
Still to come on our news, an F&M MP calls for the government to deliver on its promise of campaign finance reform. Plus, it's another Fit Friday. Stay tuned.